Hi, welcome to Caregiver Cast. My name is Mary Elaine Petrucci, your host. My guest today is Alexi Bracey, who is a dementia prevention coach. So before I formally introduce Alexi, I will tell you a little bit about her background. After Alexi conquered cancer, she changed her chef's hat to one of plant-based nutrition. She spent the last 20 years learning what pieces of the puzzle are needed to achieve and maintain excellent health, nutritionally, emotionally, and environmentally. Alexi provides coaching, education, and resources to achieve a healthy brain and a clear mind to ward off dementia. Welcome to Caregiver Cast, Alexi.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
You have quite the interesting story. So can we start with your cancer diagnosis and how that changed your nutrition?
Well, I was eating the traditional diet that most people do. I wasn't a particularly fast food junkie by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd have a hamburger, once or twice a month. Would eat potato chips, just like most people do. And so, of course, my cancer diagnosis really caught me off guard. And I was not prepared to do anything invasive. So, this was more than 20 years ago. With the availability of the internet not being what it is today, I spent 3 months at bookstores and libraries researching cancer and was amazed that, nutrition, lifestyle really plays a key factor. I was living on the west coast of Canada at the time, and the raw food movement was coming up from California, and so I embraced that. And then I eliminated toxic cleaning products, toiletries, things that were detrimental to my health. I did some emotional work, and without any medical intervention, drugs, or surgery, a year later I was cancer-free. So that really changed my direction of my life, really. And so, focused on a raw food diet at that time. And just did lots of studying and took umpteen courses and programs and learned about, diet, how important it is, about, I'm an healthy home environmental expert. So I go into people's homes and I tell them toxins that are impeding their health. And then, the emotional work is really important. You have to forgive people that you have not resolved issues with over your past, because according to the ACE test, which is an acronym for Accelerated Childhood Experiences, they did a study, Kaiser Permanente, which is a well-respected health research company. They interviewed 19,000 college grads, 10 questions, traumas you've had between the ages of 3 and 18, things like sexual abuse, emotional, verbal, your father was an alcoholic, you got kicked out of home. If you score 2 or more yeses out of a possible 10, you have an 80% chance of developing either cancer or diabetes or heart disease after the age of 50. And so brain health is in there as well. So, you really have to look at those emotional things that are still really holding you back, really paramount. So, lifestyle is really important. For example, the blue zones, which are 5 communities worldwide that boast the healthiest, longest living individuals well into their 90s and 100s. How do they do it? Well, a lot of them, most of the little communities grow their own food, so it's not sprayed with the heavy chemicals that we have today on our soil, like the glyphosates and the GMO products. We get lots of sunshine. We're always sitting beside the computer, 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. Set a stopwatch on your clock or on your cell phone and get up every hour, every 2 hours, just to move around, to exercise, get outside, get some fresh air, get some vitamin D. They all drink pure water. unfortunately, our water is so polluted worldwide. So you
Mhm.
definitely have to invest in a water filtration system in your home. The Brita does not cut it. And, toxins in the home, from your plastics to the cleaning products to your Teflon frying pans to your microwave ovens. There's so many toxins in your home that, are really detrimental to your health. I really stress physical, mental, and and emotional social activities every single day. You need to belong to some kind of community, whether it's in your neighborhood, whether you're a senior, whether you belong to a bridge club or knitting club, or whether you go out dog walking with a group of friends. That social connection is really important. And that's why it's been really detrimental to people planet-wide these last couple of years. What kind of physical activities do you do? You have to, even if it's just sit-ups and push-ups and a little bit of weight training, you need that physical exercise. Ballroom dancing is excellent. Gardening is excellent because you're connecting your brain with some kind of physical movement. And then, what do you do to stimulate your brain? There's puzzles, take up a new craft, learn a new language, play an instrument. I play a game called Lumosity on the internet every day. And, it stimulates your brain for being more adept, more quick, better reasoning, math skills. So all these things sort of come into play. And of course, in our modern environment, we are so besieged with all the electronics, it's really
Mhm.
impairing our sleep because people go to bed with their iPad watching Netflix, a movie,
Mhm.
Our bedrooms have to be electronic free. Your bedroom is only for two reasons. One of them is for sleep.
Mhm.
It has to be in total darkness and no electronics in your bedroom, because at night your brain detoxifies. If you're bombarding your brain with electromagnetic frequencies, your brain's not going to detoxify, which impairs over time your brain function. So
Mhm.
it comes down to your lifestyle habits. We've gotten to be so modernized, so sloppy. We'll do it tomorrow, or where you don't do it at all. So over time it affects you in various capacities in your health. So like heart disease is inflammation of your heart, arthritis is inflammation of your joints, so dementia is inflammation of your brain. So you have to incorporate factors in your life that reduce the inflammation. That's the bottom line. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be something you're not going to enjoy, or strict dieting. You won't be able to eat, some of your favorite foods. You adapt to your lifestyle, and it's doable. I mean, I've been doing this for more than 20 years,
Mhm.
and I'm very cognizant of my brain function, and I really support my body with the foods to keep that brain healthy, alive, and functioning well into my 80s, 90s, and beyond.
Mhm. Wow, thank you very much for explaining what you did in your own health journey, and how a lot of the products that we're using are just not are really detrimental to our health, like our
Mhm.
electronics and some of our cleaning supplies. Um, you have like so many nuggets in the blue zones where people are living, in their hundreds. Um, and like you said, they're growing their own food, and they're enjoying life because they're taking in account those interactions, social interactions every day. So are there steps that people can do, Alexi, that can help ward off dementia now, given like our lifestyle? Where
Well,
we're
I think probably one of the first things to do is to eliminate glyphosates from your diet. And glyphosate is the active ingredient found in Monsanto's Roundup. It's a neurotoxin. It's a body toxin that has been shown to cause cancer. It's sprayed
Mm,
on crops to kill the bugs for better yield. But it kills the bugs, so hello, it's going to kill our cells too. So
mhm,
start reading your labels and identify foods, especially packaged foods, that contain glyphosates, and it should be, listed on the ingredients. And then like your beans, legumes, all your grains, your pumpkin seeds, your sesame, flax seeds, they're also heavily sprayed with glyphosate. So it's best to eat as much organic as possible. Some things may be cost prohibitive, so substitute something else. There's a really great website, ewg.org, which stands for Environmental Working Group. And every year they come up with a list, the Healthy 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So the Healthy 15 means foods, fruits and vegetables that you can eat non-organic, and then the Dirty Dozen are the ones that absolutely have to be organic. So I really highly recommend everybody to download. You can get it business card size, so you can take it with you when you go grocery shop. So, stay away from GMO foods, your corn, canola, cottonseed oils, and all vegetable oils have one of those three oils in it. So again, a GMO product. If it manipulates and changes the crops, it's going to have to harm it. Not going to have to, it does harm our body, our cells, our chemistry, our mitochondria in some way as well. Because of sleep is when your body detoxifies. Really make a commitment to get rid of the electronics in your bedroom, and don't be on the computer for at least an hour, if preferably two, before you go to bed, because that frequency really does interfere with your sleep cycle. We've gotten so sloppy that you have to watch a movie or listen to the latest news or catch up on social media just before you go to bed. It's not really good for your overall body. And incorporate meditation into your life, especially before you go to bed. You'll have a lot more restful and enjoyable and beneficial sleep.
Awesome. I have to remove some of those electronic devices from my bedroom. So thank you for the great warning. I'll have to figure out another exception for using my cell phone as my alarm. We've talked about nutrition and some environmental factors. You did mention ACEs, those traumatic events people have that have occurred in the past, and they may or may not remember them, but they are acting that trauma out in some way. What do you recommend people to do in terms of either trying to figure out what triggers that they have from childhood so that they can heal emotionally?
Well, you can access the quiz. It's free online, the ACE test, ACE, and you will know, exactly where you stand. The more X's you have, the more you have to really address, your emotional issues, things that don't serve you anymore. The easiest way, really, the most effective way, is to seek professional help. If you can forgive on your own for whatever trauma somebody inflicted on you, that's great, but not everybody can do it. But just, food for thought. There's two prisoners of war walking on their way to freedom. And the one prisoner says to the other, "So did you forgive him?" And the other guy says, "No, never." To which the first one replies, "Then they have you prisoners for the rest of your life."
Oh my gosh, that is really profound. Thank you for sharing that.
You just, that's not saying what they did was good or you're accepting it, but you have to let go for your benefit, not for the other person's benefit, but definitely for your benefit. If you can at all, write a letter of forgiveness to that person. Maybe that person has now deceased. Maybe they are alive. Optimally, it would be best to give it to them in person. If you're not comfortable doing it, do it however resonates with you. But definitely forgiveness is really a big factor. And then above all, I really stress just to be grateful. Be grateful for the bad things in your life. Like, for example, I'm grateful that I got cancer because it really changed the direction of my life. Be grateful you didn't get that job because another opportunity came up and you got a better job. Be grateful that you broke up with this girl because you met another girl who's the dream of your life. So
Mm.
even in negativity, there's something to be grateful for. And each day, just be grateful that we take so much for granted. We have running water, we have electricity, we have a bed to sleep in, we have food to put on our plate, whereas the population in the world is not like that. And just like even the little niceties, like be grateful for the pets you may have. Be grateful that you know how to bake cookies that your grandson likes. Be grateful that you can share your skills as a storyteller with your granddaughter because she's going to doing a presentation in school. So there's just so many things that we can be grateful for that people just take for granted. For me, gratitude is I approach strangers at the dog park, at the grocery store, at the ATM machine, and I say, can I put a chuckle in your heart? And by that, I mean, may I share a joke with you? Why? That other person, I don't know what kind of day they're having. Maybe they just lost a loved one. Maybe they just moved to a new city and they don't know anybody. Maybe they lost their job. And so I proceed to tell them a joke. So for 2 minutes, I have a captive audience. They laugh out loud. It feeds my soul. It increases their feel-good hormone as well as mine. And I feel that I'm just showing a little bit of gratitude to this person that I took the time just to brighten a day.
That's such a wonderful thought, is to bring some joy into somebody's heart, because you never know, like you said, what they may be going through, and they needed you to show up
Well, just
and
really
give
picked me
them
up.
some joy.
Yeah, just for like all of 2 minutes.
That's incredible. I really appreciate that golden nugget. So if people are worried about dementia because they had a family member with it or several family members with dementia, and they come to you, what are the steps that you would be taking a person through in order to have them prevent dementia as much as possible? I know you said earlier that you go into their home and eliminate all the toxic elements. At that point, do you also help them? Do you look in their refrigerator and see what they may have that is beneficial or harmful to them?
Oh, definitely. I do offer a kitchen pantry assessment actually to your listeners. I go into their kitchen pantry and look at, the packaged foods you have, what kind of sweeteners you have, what canned goods you have. I go into your refrigerator because all those things are contributing factors. If you feed your garden good food, good fertilizer, you're going to have a great yield. If you really look after your fish and they live in a clean environment, they're going to thrive. So our body is the same way. So what we feed it, we will reap the results. So, I really stress the ACE test when somebody comes to see me, just to see where they're at. And then I do a lengthy questionnaire, an assessment to see where their body functions are, which ones are weak, which ones are strong. And then an assessment of, your lifestyle, what you eat on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, how often do you go out, there's their social interactions, how long are you on the internet, what kind of physical activities do you do anything to stimulate your mind, what acts of kindness do you show, what is the meaning and purpose in your life, what gets you up early or eager in the morning to tackle the day. It sort of like encompasses a whole lifestyle factors of your daily, weekly, monthly life, or what it has been in the last 5 or 10 or 15 years. What traumas have you recently experienced? it just encompasses so much. So it's really quite lengthy, but it gives me a better understanding of what their weak points are. And then so we address those to strengthen them. So I really use the functional medicine model. I get to the root cause as opposed to, well, because I do everything holistically in, sound without any kind of chemical intervention.
That's amazing that it's so thorough and that you take them through so many different assessments to really see, like you said, what they're doing well and what they're not. So I assume then you make a plan and for them. So are there times when they check in with you when they're making these changes?
Yeah, I have a game plan lined up for them. A menu of foods with recipes of what they should eat, a shopping list, and a daily schedule of things that I suggest. And so we check in every week. And anytime, you're free to email me if you have any questions or any concerns. And so I initially start with a 3-month program, and then we can extend it to further and just go a little bit more in depth. I don't want just to teach you. I want you to know how to do this. So support is paramount. And so I give you lots of support, because if you're wavering or you don't understand or you're fed up or you've had a bad day, I want to keep you on the straight and narrow, because you will see results very quickly.
That's amazing. Even with your health journey, that you were able to conquer cancer without using drugs or radiation or anything like that to harm your body. Is there another way? You had mentioned, I guess, a whole health app, and how does that fit into your program?
Well, the whole health app is all about natural health, but I do have a free quiz on there. Are you at risk for dementia? So it's 15 questions with answers that will maybe open your eyes to think, oh, well, I do this, and maybe I should really consider eliminating that or incorporating that. So it sort of gives you a brief synopsis of things that you can implement immediately. When you sign up to access the app, it's free of charge. If you send me your email, or if you send me your results, I will offer a complimentary 20-minute Zoom kitchen pantry assessment.
Wow, that is
So,
awesome. Thank
yeah,
you.
just to get people started, like, I don't want people that are just interested. I want people that are really committed to make a change, whether it's for themselves or for a loved one. So it's a little tricky to access the app, but I'll just share it with you right now. So it's called the Whole Health app. The logo is a picture of a head, like a cartoon thing with your brain. So if you have an Android, type in Whole Health, one word, lowercase. If you have an iPhone, type in the Whole Health app, and it will take you to the app. And then you just go to topics, miscellaneous, and articles. And it's right there, questions and answers.
That's incredible. Thank you. How long does it, I know this is probably an individual program, obviously. When do people start noticing differences when they remove those toxic chemicals, that they're eating more organically, more nutritionally? Can you give us an idea of how long the
Well,
process may be?
if you really improve your sleeping quarters, you can notice a difference within a week easily. Nutritionally, and with the supplements and a few other suggestions, I've seen results in a month very easily, for sure. But just for people, generally speaking, if you want to improve the quality of your sleep, get rid of the electronics in your bedroom. That's, paramount. And then, if you're eating more healthily, and incorporating, getting rid of the toxins and the foods that contain the glyphosates, because glyphosates interfere with the digestion of your food. That interferes with the production of serotonin, which is a precursor to melatonin, and melatonin is your sleep hormone.
Mm.
You're not getting the good sleep, not detoxifying your brain. So within several weeks at the month, at the end of a month at the most, you will definitely see results. And then it just builds on it, and you'll progressively get better in different areas of your life.
That's incredible. My mother had Alzheimer's, so I have been eating a vegetarian diet, but I think I'm going to have you come in and help me remove some chemical toxins that I don't really need to use. You have provided so much information about what people can do nutritionally, emotionally, and environmentally to help them decrease their risk of dementia or to prevent it at all costs. Does this help people who have had, for me, my mother had Alzheimer's, so am I more prone to have Alzheimer's? And would it be beneficial for me to be in your program?
Well, you may be more prone for two reasons to develop Alzheimer's, because your mother did. It could be because of the APO gene that you may have. But the other key factor is the same lifestyle habits, because you very often you hear, somebody that's been diagnosed with breast cancer say, well, my mother had it, my grandmother had it, and I'm going to probably get it. It's the same lifestyle habits, the same kinds of foods, doing the same kinds of things. So just because your mother had it doesn't mean you're going to get it. And according to the new science of neuroplasticity, gene expression can be changed. So just because you got that gene doesn't mean you're going to get it. So if you change those lifestyle habits, you definitely will see an improvement. It's inevitable.
Okay, thank you. I'm feeling a little bit better now about
and then for
more small changes. Go ahead.
And then for those that have been diagnosed with dementia, it can be stopped and reversed to some degree, depending on the severity. I don't take it to that degree because, you'd have to work with a medical, holistic functional medicine doctor in that, but it can definitely be stopped, and some small changes can be noticed. Like, for example, there's this one supplement that I support for dementia prevention, and I had a friend who put her father on this. Well, let me backtrack. They got him a sippy cup to drink his tea, and he was too embarrassed because he liked to drink his tea in a china cup and saucer, and his fingers would just tremble like this, and he was too embarrassed. So they got the sippy cup. Well, he wouldn't touch it. So I suggested this particular supplement. Within a month, his hand stopped shaking, and he was able to drink out of a cup normally. So I can't promise those kinds of results for everybody, but it's just to show that results are possible, but everybody's individual.
That's true. That's an amazing story. Thank you very much for sharing that. Are there any other things that people need to be, or caregivers need to be aware of, not only for their health, but for the one that they're caring for? Are there signs that they should be looking for and then coming to you to make those changes in nutrition, emotion, and in the environment?
Well, I highly suggest that they go take the quiz, because that will really open their eyes. But, as we get older, we may forget, where you put the keys or whatever. But if it seems to be more progressive, or if you can't remember, you go to the grocery store, you have 5 items to get, and you come back and you realize that you didn't get the one that you really wanted. Or you can't remember who called you, or when somebody calls you, you don't know who it is. So there's like little faltering signs that you can sort of pick up. And if you think about it, was I like this last year? Probably not. Or if you can't remember 5 or 6 numbers in a row, like maybe somebody's telephone number, you know. But there's exercises, and like I said, I play this game Luminosity, where you can improve that skill. But it's coupled with a whole bunch of other things. We're not one size fits all Barbie dolls. Everybody's genetic and chemical and physical makeup is unique.
Definitely. Thank you. I like that Barbie doll comparison. Thank you. You have really provided so much information to our listeners today. Are there any closing thoughts that you have for our listeners in terms of doing that dementia quiz, doing that ACE quiz, which is the Adverse Childhood Experiences Test? Anything, what can you offer, I guess, in addition to that, the pantry makeover? Any closing thoughts that you have?
Well, keep laughter in your life, because laughter has been shown to improve brain function. And so that's part of my reason for telling the jokes to people, to strangers, because, laughter feeds the soul, your soul and my soul. So having said that, may I just put a little chuckle in your heart and tell you a joke?
Yes, please. I would appreciate it.
Okay. So a 4-year-old little boy goes up to his dad and he says, "Dad, I know who I'm going to marry." And his dad says, "So who's the lucky girl?" "It's Grandma. She loves me. She's a great cook and she's a great storyteller." "Well, there's a bit of a problem, son." "What's that, Dad?" "Well, you can't marry my mother." "Well, why not? You married mine."
Oh, that is so wonderful. Yes. I appreciate your humor. I love that whole idea of being grateful, having gratitude, and having laughter. And I can just imagine all the people whose lives you touch by your stories and bringing laughter into their lives. Thank you so much for sharing today.
Well, it's been an honor, and thank you for allowing me to share my gifts and my love.
Well, thank you very much. I think we've learned a lot of golden nuggets here. I hope the listeners take advantage of your offers and start on a path where they can be more nutritionally and emotionally and environmentally sound so that they can prevent dementia. So thank you.
All right, thank you.